guys, welcome to the Miss Beauty Saver vlog. This is actually my first vlog video that I've done, and it's basically just showing you how to make a great MAC dupe. This is actually a MUA eyeshadow palette that I've made myself, and the total cost of this eyeshadow palette was £18. Now if you wanted a MAC palette like this, a 15 colour palette, well, one of the eyeshadows would more than likely cost you about £16 on average. So this is a really good MAC eyeshadow palette dupe. The eyeshadows I've used are actually these MUA Pro eyeshadows. This is just one of the old pots it came in. The reason I wanted to make this eyeshadow palette is so everything, well, all of my eyeshadow colours are all in one place, and it's also just a lot easier to store because these little packets that they came in are they've got like a domed lid, and it just makes them quite difficult to store because you can't really stack them on top of each other or anything. So it's really good to have them all in one place. It's pretty and it's practical, but even for storage it's absolutely excellent. So I actually got this palette off of eBay. It came from China. It took about 5 to 6 weeks to arrive, but it only cost, I think it was like less than £3. And I just did a little design on the front. I just did that with some nail polish and some little like sort of diamond-y little things there, just to make it look a bit pretty and just so that I know what's inside it. This is my MUA eyeshadow palette. So if you want to see how I made this, then please watch the video following. First of all, take an empty palette with 36mm pans. Now carefully remove the silver pans from the palette. When you have done, your palette will be empty and will look something like this. Next, you will need to decide what sort of colour order you'd like to arrange your eyeshadows in inside your palette. Take a sticky label and cut down into small squares. This means that you can write down individual eyeshadow shade numbers onto this little sticker and stick it inside the pan hole in the empty palette. Then when you put the corresponding eyeshadow shade on top, if you run out of this eyeshadow, you can always be sure you can repurchase the same shade again simply by taking it out of the pan and having a look at the shade number underneath. So now we're going to take a pair of hair straighteners and turn them on full. Please be really careful because obviously the hair straighteners are going to be really hot. So take the eyeshadow and pop it on a piece of greaseproof paper and then pop it on top of the hair straighteners and leave it there for about a minute, just enough time to let the glue inside melt. Carefully lift the eyeshadow off of the hair straighteners and very carefully ease the eyeshadow out of its little case using a knife. Please do be careful because it could still be quite hot after being on the hair straighteners. Now repeat this process for all of your eyeshadows. Just remember to be careful on the hot straightening irons, and also be aware that the eyeshadow may still be hot when you take it off and depot the eyeshadow from its case. When depotting the eyeshadow, use gentle motions with the knife as it's easy to damage the eyeshadow by poking it or slipping. Arrange the eyeshadows in the order you'd like to place them in your eyeshadow palette. Now place your individual depotted eyeshadows into the empty pans in the palette. Put them in the order you already decided they would go, and you may find it easier to use a piece of greaseproof paper to gently press the eyeshadows into the palette. And there you go. You should now have your finished MUA eyeshadow palette. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.